Let's explore consciousness a bit. For the purpose of this diagram, I have depicted consciousness as yellow because that's, let's say, light. Some people call consciousness God, some people call it source, some people call it the universe, but we can all agree that it is well represented by light. Now, consciousness is everywhere, it's everything that exists, it is all powerful, all present, all capable. It is love, joy, and peace. It's everything beautiful and wonderful. And it is simply, given its name, consciousness, it is simply aware. It is awareness. It is the I am. I am, I exist. And then in this field here, it doesn't have a physical form, it doesn't have a mind, it doesn't have time or space, it just is. I am. That's what consciousness is. But then it comes into human form. And for human form, consciousness does not make a separate being. A piece of consciousness comes, and it's just an extension of consciousness localized. Now, I know that this yellow isn't very easy to see, but that is actually the point. So, now we exist in the physical world, and in order to exist in the physical world, we need a physical body. So, let's create a physical body. That's what the spirit, consciousness that came into the world did, because it needed to be able to get around. It needed, in a world with space, it needed something to navigate space. In order to do that, you have to have a sense of, okay, how do I move the body? Where, what's safe, what's not. If this were a car, you'd have gauges, you'd have windshield wipers, you'd have brakes, you'd have all sorts of stuff, right? So in this metaphor, let's call this one of those chariots, like those old like a horse and buggy, but like a Roman one with 5 chariots, right? So these, in this metaphor, um these are your senses, the 5 senses. And the 5 senses are guides. So we do 5 senses and they guide. That's what they do. They tell you hot, cold, time to sleep. They tell you what needs doing. They exist to inform the body. The body, this whole chariot system, exists for the purpose of taking this divine, this piece of divinity around in the world, so that this piece of divinity can have the experiences and do the things that it came here to do and experience. However, we need something to, drive this chariot. You can think of it as a charioteer, I think the word is. Um, and I could draw it as a human being, but I don't want to, because this isn't a human being. This is just a function. This is the mind and it is the intellect. It is another tool that divine consciousness has created to help to navigate this system. This is not a human being. It is just a function. The mind and its ability to think and analyze and plan and plot using the information that comes in through the senses about the world and the terrain is a function of this device that was created for this world, for the experience of the physical world where there is physical form and time and space. But ultimately, the purpose of all of this is to navigate the, oh, you can't see that, can you? Okay. The purpose is to navigate the spirit, the part of consciousness, the part of the I am. So we are born into a body and we develop our mind and our intellect. And we learn, as kids, we learn you don't touch fire, fire burns, you don't, you know, you should wear shoes on this terrain, you can walk without shoes on another terrain. Be careful of these bugs, be careful of potholes, whatever. We learn how to manage the body and we learn it and interpret it here. So this AI, if you will, it interprets things like it says there is rain over here. There's too much rain. There's too much mud. Let's not go there. So it says too much mud, not going there. Then it says pothole, avoid. Then it says that road is too dark, avoid, right? But after a while, this level of consciousness, this level of awareness starts to, well, first of all, we give it a name and we call it, Mary or David or whatever. And then this level of consciousness starts to say, there's too much rain and mud over here. I am not going over here. I am avoiding that. I don't think that's wise over there. So the difference here is not necessarily about how it's interpreting the senses. The difference is that this level of consciousness is constantly looking at the road, constantly observing what's happening in the world, constantly observing what's happening with friends, what's happening with family, what's happening with politics, the economy, the environment, mega corporations, whatever, your boss, your neighbor, your car. It's just observing and it's saying, I, I am, I am doing, I am going, I am afraid, I like, I want, I choose. And it's directing the chariot, the vehicle, with sort of a limited, it's forgotten the back, it's forgotten the spirit part, and it's just focused on where it is headed. It believes that it is what is functioning. It believes that it is in control. And because it was given an instruction to protect and to keep safe the sacred passenger, it has a tendency to be afraid. In fact, it has quite an obsession with it. It thinks that being afraid is some sort of noble thing. So it remembers every pothole that has been encountered. It remembers every pain that the senses have experienced. And it becomes paranoid that the road ahead is full of that. So it is constantly looking forward and it is constantly using its limited resources, which is the mind. The mind is where the thoughts flow through like a conveyor belt. The intellect, which is the ability to analyze and think and come up with a strategy. And it's just constantly analyzing the senses, the five senses. What do I see in this world? What do I detect in this world? And what does that remind me of from the past? Am I going to get harmed in the same way that I got harmed in the past? So what we end up doing, none of this per se is wrong. That is the point of the five horses, to direct the five senses, direct the body. The mind looks at the terrain and analyzes it and says, come on, let's go this way, let's go that way. This is the system working. The problem is that when the I am shifts to here, now a form of AI that has a very, very simple function, a function based on fear and caution, a function that is for the purpose of remembering. The mind has the ability to remember past and to project into the future. This AI starts to take over the decision making process and says, let's go here and let's go there. And it has, the problem is that it has forgotten this stuff. First of all, it has forgotten the body. It has forgotten this, its function is to guide and direct the existence in the physical world, which is the physical form. So it neglects the body and it doesn't allow the free flow of this energy. This energy here is the passenger of this chariot, and it is the purpose of all of this. This is awareness. This is the force that wants to go into the world. It wants to express itself into the world. This is love that wants to bring love into the world. This is everythingness, which is content and wants to act from a place of contentment and flow here. This is the creative life force that wants to recreate the body, build and sustain this body all the time, and send energy to the body and vitalize the body. And it is the life force that wants to create in the world projects, arts, change, social movements, new concepts, new creations. It wants to do that. But when the focus, or not even the focus, the allowing is only forward of this, then all you're doing is interpreting the world as you see it, as the world as it currently exists, and associating that to what happened in the past and making decisions based on that. But if you're not getting wisdom, if you're not acting from the level of your consciousness that is already fulfilled, then you're acting from the level of the consciousness that is looking at the road and saying, caution, caution, potholes, potholes. And your world becomes limited by that. The body starts to disintegrate because there's no free flow of this. Joy is not experienced, peace is not experienced, and we forget that there's infinite potential. Infinite potential came in here and has infinite ideas of what it wants to do in the world. But we forget that and we say, navigate with caution, navigate with caution. Remember the pain from the past. Remember that other pothole. Remember how bad it was when it started to rain. Be afraid of rain. And that's all that life gets reduced to. There's no creation, there's no new stuff. So the solution, when this level of consciousness, when this I am starts to suffer, we say, okay, the solution is to fix the terrain. The solution is to change the job, change the world, change the political climate, change the economy, save more money, work harder, and joy will come. But you cannot look for joy outside in the world when joy is the nature of the passenger that you're carrying, and joy only comes from the remembering and experiencing and allowing of joy. Same thing with love. The I am looks for love and says, I wonder if there's someone I can love. I wonder if there's someone who will love me. That's what it looks for. Is there someone who will love me? And it won't find that because it has detached itself from the experience of love. God is love. The I am is love. The thing that came into this world and wants to express through you is love, but you have separated yourself from it. So we can fast forward the story, and after a few decades you can say that you become depressed. You're frustrated, you are physically ill, you are lost, you are lonely, love isn't working, your job isn't fulfilling, you're not finding joy in the world, you have no peace of mind, and the driver feels like he's failing. The mind is just on a loop, playing the same thoughts over and over, hoping that it can find comfort or solutions in those thoughts. And the intellect is just exhausted because this whole thing, after decades and decades, it seems meaningless, but it also seems endless. So, long story short, we end up with depression. The solution is not here. When you're trying to empower yourself or you're trying to change the world, you get even more frustrated in your depression because this is trying to fix this in order to find in this world here the experiences that are already innate in this one here. You will never find in the world that has been created, in the world that the limited mind is experiencing, you will never find what you're looking for if what you're looking for is this that is here. You're looking for the wrong things in the wrong place from the wrong place. Let's not forget that St. Francis said, what you are looking for is where you are looking from. So what you're looking for in this world, the fulfillment, the love, the contentment, the peace of mind, it's not going to come as long as you're looking from here. It's going to come when you remember this, because this already is content, fulfilled, peaceful, loving, generous, happy. Everything is already in here. Remember, this is a piece of everythingness. So after we try all the physical things like work harder, save harder, and that doesn't fulfill us, we go into a spiritual quest. Now, this is really the point of the diagram here. The spiritual quest is the driver, the I am, localized, temporary, mistaken sense of I am that is now in the driver here, saying, I will find spirit out here, or I will intellectually understand spirit, or I will fix all the problems in my life until I become spiritual, or I will take these senses and focus the senses on spiritual words and spiritual concepts, or I will take the body, which it only knows how to operate from the outside. It doesn't know how to create, energize, or truly sense the body, but it takes what it can understand of the body and says, I will do spiritual actions with this body, and I will then be spiritual. That will not work. It will keep you occupied for a while. It will calm the mind a bit by purifying the thoughts that go through the mind. It will give you some peaceful experiences, it'll give you glimpses of what you could be experiencing. But this guy here cannot fully experience what is not his. And because he is an accidental illusion, not that there's anything wrong with him, but the sense of I am, has become placed here by accident. There is nothing that the sense of I am acting from here can do to fix the fact that the problem is that the I am is acting from here. It is a loop that you get caught in. And the only thing that can fix this is to remember this I am, to experience this I am, to allow this I am. So how do you do that? Okay. This I am is who you are. It is who you are. You do not need to attain this I am. You do not need to merit this I am. You do not need to work really hard or search really hard to find the I am. The I am is there. You have the right, it is there all the time. You have the right to access it. You are capable of accessing it. The I am is your nature. This spirit I am, the true I am, your true self, is your nature. However, what you are not your body. You are not your mind. You're not your intellect. You're not the terrain, the journey that you're on. You're not your job, your career. You're not your family. You're not your home. You're not your bank account. You are awareness. Awareness. Awareness is this. It is what you are. It is what perceives, what experiences. The sense of being is awareness. However, awareness has become trapped in this little loop here where it just listens to and pays attention to the mind. The mind plays the same thoughts, the same memories on a loop. And even when there's a desire to awaken, the awareness is still trapped in the mind leading the awakening process. So the solution is to free the awareness from here and once the I am is not here anymore, you do not now need to go, okay, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I am, I wonder what I am. No. As soon as you stop being deluded or distracted by this sense of identity, you immediately experience what you already are. I am does not need to be attained, it needs to be allowed. So, the goal is to get rid of this temporary I am, the awareness that has become fixated on the mind. How do you do that? Do you stop the mind? No. You can almost never stop the mind, not for more than a second or two. The mind's job is to think, it will not stop. How do you then free your awareness from the mind? If the mind won't stop, but the awareness is fixated on the mind, then the solution is to move the awareness from the mind. In order to do that, you have to stop being mesmerized by every single thought that the mind gives to you. And that's where honestly people ask, when I explain these different diagrams or these different concepts, they always ask, well, show us the instructions on how to become free. And the instructions are really, really simple. I can boil it down to one word. If you want the fancy word, it would be meditate. Meditate, meditate, meditate. If you want the simple word, it is be, being. The That's why I named the book The Art of Being. I have a playlist on this channel called The Art of Being. Um, to be is the opposite of to think. And when you shift your awareness to your being, to the state of being, then you're not hypnotized and entranced by the mind. And then you get to experience this, your inner being, your true self. These are the words I've always been talking about: your inner spirit, your inner guide, your higher self. And it takes a lot of effort. If you think that you're going to say, I'm not listening to the mind, I'm not listening to the mind, I'm not listening to the mind, I'm being. That's really hard, and you will only experience it for a few moments here and there, very briefly. What you want to do, and this is in every single meditation that I have on my channel, I'll put all of this in the description. Look up the guided meditation playlist. All of the meditations that I lead or describe, they all have to do with freeing the awareness from the mind by, there's a beautiful cheat that the universe put here, the door to escape this escape room. If you focus your awareness on your breath, you will not in that moment be aware of the mind. Your I am is not here. This illusionary I am does not exist when you have put all of your awareness on your breath. It seems way too simple to be true, but it is absolutely true. Ask any ancient culture, any ancient text, any sage, and they will tell you that the breath is the portal to the I am, to spirit. The point, we don't need to get into that detail, but the point is that if you are not paying attention to the mind, you are experiencing I am. If you're it is difficult to just drop the mind. So what you do is you shift the awareness, you sneak the awareness over, you scooch it over, and you say, hey, instead of paying attention to the thoughts, pay attention to the breath, pay attention to the breath, pay attention to the breath. Now, this is not the same thing as breath work or pranayama, where you use different breathing techniques to attain different feelings in the body. It's not that. It is just simply breath awareness. Be aware of your breath. Put your awareness on your breath. And when you put your awareness on your breath, you have dropped this whole thing. You have dropped this whole thing. That's why I say close your eyes, recede from the five senses, go inside, and then tell the mind that you're going to leave it alone for a few minutes. And then put your awareness on your breath, and immediately, bam, you're experiencing I am. And you're experiencing all of the nature of I am. And the nature of I am is it is everything, it is capable of everything, it is already content, it is loving in nature, it is peaceful because of that contentment. And because it doesn't lack anything, it's already happy. It has uncaused joy. So the love, peace, and joy that you're looking for are inside here. And the secret is to move from here to here. And the only easy way to do that in any sustained way is to shift your awareness to your breath. And then from there, you'll just simply feel this beaming. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. This inner self, inner guide, is a part of the divine. It's a part of the whole thing. It is God inside of you. It is part of the creator inside of you. And then you remember, you contact this space here is the kingdom of heaven. This is heaven inside. This is the experience of heaven. This is the experience of Christ consciousness, of God consciousness. This is the ability to contact source, because this is connected to source. It is part of source. So this is where change occurs, healing occurs. All the mental patterns, all the pain that dwells here, all the pain in the body, all the fears and traumas because of the journey you've been on, they get healed from here. They do not get healed from here. The mind and its actions will only slightly soothe your physical experience. They will not heal. The healing force is the I am, the self with a capital S. And everything that you want to transform in your world, everything that you want to see changes in, the road ahead, the terrain that you're on, is built from here and is changed from here.